not going to hit the button until you're ready. Oh, son of
Right.
a bitch. We are
It's
not going live on Facebook. Let's try this
well,
again.
there's
Okay.
been
Now we're
some.
live on Facebook.
Well, but there's been notifications every time I went into StreamYard saying that there are issues with Facebook.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. But we also
Yeah.
just had an issue with LinkedIn too, which I don't even
Right.
know why we go to LinkedIn. I'm waiting
Right.
for my
Well,
notifications.
I mean, you're the.
Hey.
I mean, yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know anything about LinkedIn, so
I don't know anything about anything and nothing about nothing.
but yeah, that's pretty much that's our life story, right?
Good morning, everyone. It is March 29th. This is a Good Friday.
Oh,
Not
that's
really that
right.
good.
That's right. Yeah, it is Good Friday.
It's
I forgot this weekend. This is Easter weekend.
it's first Good Friday for me because my mom decided to get COVID, so we're gonna reschedule Easter for next week.
Oh, okay.
Because we can do that. We can reschedule holidays.
Yeah, I do that for Thanksgiving. I used to do that for Thanksgiving. You know, because it's like usually Thursdays are just really inconvenient, but this time around might be easier because Jose's schedule now. You know,
Well,
so
this
but
is
still
true.
though, yeah, but still it's like usually it's easier for us to hold Thanksgiving on the weekend anyway. So.
I get it. I
But
totally
yeah.
get it. And I'm excited about waiting until next week because then that increases our odds of having crawfish, which is like a necessity down here this time of
Oh, I
year.
see.
And they're
Right.
so fucking expensive
Lifeblood.
right now. Yes, they are so expensive right now. It's like,
Right.
only the wealthies is eating the crawfish, and we ain't
Right.
fitting in there just yet. So hopefully the prices will come down a little bit more this week.
Right. Oh, so
Ugh.
there you go.
You ready for this garbage?
Absolutely not, but hit it.
Dun dun dun. Good morning, Daphne.
Good morning, Nita. It's like, yeah, but I completely forgot that it was a holiday weekend, though. You know, because I'm lucky I remember the day of the week. Very lucky. Hello. Oh,
Hello, hello, hello.
hello, everybody. Hello. And yes, if if you missed the very beginning, we were talking about how we've been getting error messages on Facebook.
Right.
So yes, if
Head
you
on over
really
to
are,
YouTube.
yeah, if you really are joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from LinkedIn, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in the chat, because Facebook is acting up right now. And we cannot guarantee that our stream will be continuing on Facebook or LinkedIn right now.
Right, right.
you
So
know,
just head over indiecomicsnetwork.com. It's really
Yeah.
easy. Really
Right.
easy.
Yeah. So welcome everybody in the chat. Well, on this Easter weekend, for Good Friday, on this Good Friday.
Holy, Grant. Holy. That's
Oh.
that's Father Nita to you. Or you call me Daddy for short.
Oh no. And thank you thank you all my beautiful eyeball people for still being here after that joke. Like I said, if you're joined, thank you for joining us from regions beyond. But yes, come on over to YouTube because it's not safe out there.
It's not.
There were warnings. There were tornado warnings in Facebook land. So look, come on over. And make sure you should like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. Oh, hold on. I got my wrong card up here. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so I guess we might as well just get started here. So
Let's do it.
hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
See, this business is filled to the brim with unrealistic motherfuckers.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which returns to Kickstarter in a little over a week. So April 9th is when the campaign goes live. It is a reissue of issues 1 through 5 of the next story arc, Tears in the Mother, with the brand new issue 6. So make sure you hit the link in the show notes so that you hit the notify me button so you get notified when the campaign goes live. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy drama Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which will also be returning to Kickstarter later on this year as well. Thank you so much for everybody who supported the issue 8 campaign. I am working on sketch covers right now, so hopefully in about a week or so I will have the last of the rewards for this campaign out and gone. So thank you everybody for your support and your patience. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, and Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about it, here's your daddy, Nita.
Yeah, I love it. See, my life goal is to have you questioning your sexuality.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, my name is Nita. I'm a writer, blogger from Southeast Louisiana. I have a Google account and it has Indie Comics Network on it. We try to bring you daily comics centered stuff and nonsense and whatever the fuck
we feel like talking about. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And where can we find it again?
IndieComicsNetwork.com.
It's .com. Cut.
I never grow tired of that. I'm sure everyone else is fed up with it, but
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
They can suck it.
Oh my goodness. So so Monday's show was quite exciting, I guess. I don't know. I was watching it again, but aside from the topic, right?
Right.
I realized that I really do have a lot of verbal tics.
Don't we all though?
I mean, but it was especially noticeable on Monday's show. I'm trying really hard not to say a lot of these lines that if I told you to take a drink every time I say it, you'd all be plastered.
You've never played the Lage drinking game?
Oh my goodness.
You're the only one that's never played?
No, because I know. My liver is like going, don't even. We've had enough problems already. We've had a close call with gallbladder. We don't need to piss off liver.
But I mean, we all do. It's live. We're trying to gather our thoughts. We all trip and stutter and stumble and whatever. It's not nobody cares. And if they do, fuck them.
Yeah, but it is funny
fuck them anyway.
To hear
fuck everybody
how every person has like the one phrase they keep repeating. That is kind of funny. Although that's not one of my phrases. Because I realized the one phrase that I kept repeating was that's the thing. Right? That's the thing, right? That one one was a big one. And
you got Michael Oden at the end of the day.
Right, Michael Oden had at the end of the day. Everybody post what's your verbal tic? What's your go-to phrase that you keep repeating without even thinking? Because I know Jose
I don't even know what mine is. I pick up on everybody else's.
Right, because what does Jose have? He has something like what's funny is that you would think that there's another one, right? I think that is his verbal tic. You know what's funny?
Huh. He does say that a lot.
Something like that. Yeah. it's you know what's funny or something related to that. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Ronan says his is you know what I'm saying. His verbal tick is you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, how many of our verbal ticks are because like I don't know, like we don't think people are listening. Like another thing that I keep saying is, oh, vodka is your verbal tick. um like I guess it has to stem from me thinking nobody's listening, so I keep repeating myself.
Oh my God.
Oh, C says mine used to be the truth of the matter is until I walked up on friends making fun of it.
And he
Yeah,
still does that one, but it's a variation, but I can't think
Right.
of what it is right now.
Right. Yeah. It's tough. Like really right now. Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, no, because right now I am really struggling trying to not say these particular lines that I kept saying on Monday. It's really tough because yeah, I don't know. It just
But
I
see,
guess
here's the thing. You're going
right,
to have to just learn to go with it and relax and just naturally be yourself. Because for the
right,
longest time, I spent so much time concentrating on my draw because I was embarrassed of how
right.
southern and uneducated I can sound at times. So, but the thing is when I was focusing on trying to correct my draw,
Uh-huh.
it was worse.
Oh,
I'd find myself getting worse. So it's
right,
like, you know what? Fuck it. I had to let it go. And
right,
sometimes it slipped.
right.
Sometimes it slipped. But
Uh-huh.
you know, hey,
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just got really self-conscious. I guess
Daphne,
for this
I love you for
particular time,
you. I love you for you. Be
I
you.
I guess I was just like really because I was kind of wondering whether like it was especially noticeable on that Monday because I was tired. And I guess if I'm
And
like too
passionate about what you
tired,
were talking about.
if I was too, yeah, I guess I don't know. And I don't know. Like I was trying to figure out, it's like, oh, why do I talk like that? Also,
Because you
I'm
do.
very dry too. So I don't know. Maybe I had just a whole bunch of things going on. I need to be hydrated better, maybe. That's what it is.
Drink water.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's like all these I was like going, oh my God. It's like, how do people stand listening to me with all those verbal tics? Um, but
The funny thing is that's what we love about you.
ah! Oh my goodness. But you see, the oh my goodness is not a verbal tic. I deliberately put that in there.
No, it's just gonna be one by the end of the day. You're gonna
Right?
create
Yeah,
it.
I know. It's rough. It's rough. You know, it's that's the
Something will
problem.
replace
I
it.
I think that that's why people have a hard time with embracing YouTube as a part of their portfolio because that's where you really start to learn how goofy you are.
Oh God.
You know,
You pick up
oh,
on all your
you
flaws.
know,
You can't
you
deny
know.
it. You can't deny it. When it's a mirror that speaks back to you hours later, and you're like,
Yeah,
God, I'm cringe.
yeah, and it takes a while to get used to it. I mean, I've been doing what I think I've been making videos since on and off. I've never been a consistent video maker. Hey
Dude,
Joe.
it's an illusion.
For a person who can tell people not to suck Marvel and DC's cocktail, I would have never think you were self-conscious on stream.
Daphne
Yeah,
is
I
human
have my
too.
moments. I have my
She
moments.
does.
Yeah, I really do. But yeah, like I said, for that particular, there we go. Like I said, okay, everybody start marking.
Take a shot.
Yeah, take a shot. Um, yeah, it was just very noticeable on that Monday. Usually, I can
Right.
listen to our shows without a problem.
I can't.
I like
I,
listening to
I
our
try
shows.
not
Actually,
to.
I usually do re-listen to our shows, especially if I think it's really bad. And then I listen to
Especially
it
if you think
later.
it's really bad.
Yes, because I go, oh my God, I must sound like a babbling idiot. It's like, and I re-listened to it to kind of confirm whether it was or wasn't. It's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. I actually like the show. Because
Babbling idiot or flawed human being like the rest of us, just
I
trying to
guess,
figure out
but
your way.
usually when I have these questions, I just send Nita a random text like, "Oh, the show wasn't that bad. I thought it was horrible," and then I watch it again. It's like, "Oh no, I actually was having coherent thoughts." Oh boy! So yes, I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that up because I was listening to it yesterday. I was like, "Oh my God." It's so cringe. It's so cringe, but
It's so cringe.
yeah, hey, that's what we do here. Like I said, you're not. You're not. I don't know which is worse, me actually saying the tick or pointing it out. I don't know,
Both.
really.
Does it matter? Does it matter?
I don't know, because it's you trying to control your drawl and then realizing it was making it worse every time you were more conscious about it. But okay, we're
Same. Because I can't stand it because I hate my own voice. I absolutely hate it.
Paul says, I
It's
don't think
rare.
I've ever re-listened to a show of mine except to make shorts out of some.
Same.
Well, when I started doing YouTube videos,
or if I said something I have to edit out.
Oh, well.
That happens too.
How did an hour-long video go to 35 seconds? But
not that bad.
Right. Yeah, that's true. We're not that bad. But the reason why I started doing that, re-listening to my stuff, was especially when I started doing videos, edited videos. I was forcing myself to get used to the sound of my own voice. And I figured like the more I re-listened to my shows, the more it wouldn't sound that big of a deal. And and right now I'm at a point where I really can just listen to myself and not feel self-conscious about it. I guess that's why now I've moved on to noticing my tics. Because now it's not my voice that's an issue. It's this constant repetitive nature. Oh, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
He says, hey, I'm just saying I like your accents. Yes, it's my New York Queens accent and Nita's Louisiana accent.
Swamp rat shit.
Two flavors that go great together. Do they? I don't know. Do they really? I think so. I think everybody.
I think we work well together.
I think so too. But for the one more thing though. So I said that I was starting to do the sketch covers for Eager Raven issue 8 because I have like 10 sketch covers I have to finish and send out. So I figure I start on them. I started on 2 of them because they're both from the same level. Oh, you got it already, huh? And
we got to, speaking of editing videos.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why I own a PO box. And whenever I start drawing like traditionally, I mean, really, it's like in the end. There we go. I have to. Whenever I have to transition to traditional artwork, it takes me a little bit for my brain to make that adjustment. That's how long I've been working a little too long on the Cintiq. So I was sketching out these covers, and I can't tell you how many times I was waiting for the undo.
Oh shit.
I was waiting for the undo on the sketch covers. And but conversely, on the Cintiq, I've pulled out my eraser, so my brain is all, don't cross the streets. I've almost used my eraser on my Cintiq, so the one thing that I like doing when I go do,
I love you.
What?
What?
What? And
I love this piece, man. Holy shit. I love the fucking silver.
yeah, I like using the metallic inks too. So what was I saying? Oh, the sketch covers, right? So every time I do a sketch cover, because I have to do so many of them, it gets very easy to kind of like get a little too monotonous with so many sketch covers as once, right? So I try to kind of pick a theme or kind of like pick something to do that's a little bit different on the sketch covers each time. So this time around, I thought that I would kind of like play around with my style a little bit. There's this cartoonist. I think his name is Martin Abel, and he has like this really really cartoony style. Very nice. He's one of the sketchbooks that I'm waiting to come in. And and I was, and the thing about cartoony styles is that they're deceptively difficult. And I really do like cartoony styles more than I like more realistic styles. I think that cartoony styles fits my work better. If something kind of leans a little bit too much realistic, it stops the vibe that I'm looking for in my artwork, just completely disappears. So I really like this guy's vibe. So I go, okay, what is like what is it about this guy's artwork that I really like, and can I kind of, what can I learn from that, what can I take from that, right? It's the whole like taking inspiration. So I take it because for the longest time I was drawing based on like John Buscema's work. What is it about his work, how he sets up his compositions? And a lot of times what I find is that I don't know until I actually sit down and kind of like try to copy them and try to figure out, okay, what can I suss out their thought process and apply it to my artwork somehow. So I was doing that with Martin Abel. So I grabbed a couple of his sketches, kind of like create like a little mood board on my screen. And I go, okay, what am I trying to accomplish with this style here?
Right.
And I did the first two sketches based on kind of the vibe that I was getting from his work. And I don't know, it kind of like, I think that in the end it turned out, it's like, oh, what if Eagle Raven was the main character of a romantasy novel? Like all of a sudden, like two different styles like just came together. And it's like, oh, this is what she would look like if she was like a romantasy main character or something. And it's like, I'm not sure if this was the style that I was really going for. Like I really like the way they came out, but it's definitely not style. Like the vibe is like really off. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It was just like a funny little experiment. I'm going to continue for the rest of the sketch covers, kind of like, okay, what am I trying to accomplish here? It's like, I like the prettiness of it. I like, there's something about, that all that flowing hair, right? Hello. But also it's like, I really do think that, especially with all the conversation that's going on about certain things that I don't want to talk about, that this is the difference between people having inspiration with other people's artwork and a machine having a photorealistic memory of everybody's artwork. Because what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying not to ape somebody else's style. My goal when I study John Buscema is not to draw like John Buscema. There's just certain things that I'm trying to get out of that artwork. That it's like, okay, he's doing things a certain way. It's like, how, like, why is he doing this? It's like, how can I apply that? Doesn't even apply to me. And it was the same thing with this guy's work, which is why I bought his sketchbook. Like, what is it about his work that is so incredibly appealing to me? that, and what can I learn from it, and and apply it to my work. And it's like, and I'm doing that, and it's like, well, it's like, it's kind of, it's like, okay, so I'm getting really, really pretty covers from this, but stylistically, it's not really my style. I don't know. It's kind of weird to explain because, I don't know. Like, that's like the whole point of inspiration, to see, okay, what's the vibe here? What do I like about this?
Right.
Can I kind of absorb that somehow? But it still filters through my artwork, through my style. So, like I said, I'm not copying the guy's work to be exactly like him. That's not the point, really, of that. It's like he has a certain vibe that I'm trying to figure out.
Inspiration and death are totally different things.
Right, exactly. It's not like I traced his work where it just looks
Right.
like I took one of his pieces of artwork and put a horn on her head. It's like, it's not that at all.
Have a good day, Doc.
Oh, hey, Doc. Have a good day too. And thank you so much for listening, even for what little, right? So it was just funny. I thought I'd just bring that up because it was funny at this moment to kind of like have this feeling where it's like, you have douchebags going, oh, well, how different is that from you looking at somebody else's artwork? It's like, no, it's very different. It's very different, because it's like, yeah, it's different. And you know what? It's kind of like,
it's night and day.
Yeah.
And if you're not blind, you're a fucking asshole.
Right. Well, it's kind of like how Anna was talking about the people who think that using Photoshop is the same thing. It's what I explained the last time. I can have Photoshop open all day long, but if I don't do the work on it, nothing happens. I still have to do the work in Photoshop. I still have to do the work in Clip Studio Paint. It's like, I'm looking at this guy's artwork. I still have to do the work in interpreting what it is I'm trying to capture.
Right.
So yeah. So there's yeah. That. But there was also another thing too that had popped up, but kind of like, actually, now I'm going to awkwardly segue to the topic of the show because I really awkwardly segue. So
smoothly.
I don't know, not really. I don't think so. It's not. Look, if we haven't figured this out in like 2-3 years, we're not going to. So this is what you get. So the topic of the day, right? It's not a phase, right? There was a conversation me and Jose were having when he was bringing up. Actually, no, it wasn't. We were having a conversation based on one of his previous shows, where he was talking about like legacy, right? Or he had brought like the topic of legacy came into conversation, right? And a lot of the guests on the show were talking about how if anything were to happen to them, how it's like one guy says like, yeah, I gave my wife permission to sell my characters or something. Like if something were to happen to me, my wife has permission to sell my IP, right? And then it's like there's these other conversations about, oh yeah, it's like I have a partner who's going to carry on, with my work. I have, it's like, oh, my children are going to inherit this, and all that, right? And it reminded me also, because ADHD brain, right? You just immediately go down a rabbit hole. Right. So one conversation makes me remember all these kind of tangentially connected things. And one of the things that I remembered was, two things. I had gotten an email from a guy who used to be a regular commissioner of mine, and he was emailing me to tell me that he always loved my artwork, that he would love to continue buying my artwork, but he wanted to apologize to me because he wouldn't be able to do that. And it's like, well, that's fine. That's circumstances change. I mean, I don't hold that against anybody, right? But the reason he gave me was the one that kind of made me always remember this. He had said that the reason why he couldn't do that anymore was because he had gotten married and his wife hates his art collection.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So
time to get you a new wife.
Well, you know,
Later, bitch.
well, at this point, he was like, so I guess like she doesn't like the whole furry artwork thing, like really bothered her and she didn't understand it and she didn't want anything to be displayed publicly in the house. And he had to pretty much regulate his collection to the basement where only he could see it. But like in a drawer, like literally, like not even like the basement was his space. It was just like I have to put everything in storage. Like I know it's there, but
like it couldn't even be in the house.
Right.
Like what?
Yeah,
Did she think he was fucking these women or something?
You know,
like,
I don't know. She just didn't like the
the
artwork that he was collecting. So like he had like a drawer in the basement or like a cabinet in the basement where he had the artwork stored, but that was the
run boys.
You know, that was the I guess like so he texted me, well, he emailed me to tell me that it's like, you know, I apologize. And it's like, look, that's, you know, and you know, it's kind of stuck with me, right? And then there was the other incident was this was at Florida SuperCon. And we were sitting next to three guys selling prints. And they all had the same story, all three of them. It was very strange. I guess they all knew each other. So I guess like that's how they ended up like sitting together. But each of their stories were identical. These were guys who wanted to make artwork, you know, like doing their artwork a full-time gig.
Right.
But their wives, all three of them, their wives were like the breadwinners of the family. And like they were like executives or something, like that's how, you know, they were like high up, you know, money wise, right? And all three of them were telling us how they all pretty much had to get permission from their wives to do artwork full time. And the wives were like, as long as you make money doing this, then you can do this. But the second you stop making money, you need to get a job.
Wow. And
I met one of the wives. She was an executive at Disney.
Right.
And the vibe that I got from her concerning what her husband was doing, that this was just a cute hobby she was tolerating. Yeah. Grant says, "Oh, nice. I'm all in favor of women going to work so the dude can stay home."
Me too. Like if that's it, yes, let's do this. But like,
yeah. But
I have a feeling this is about to take a dark turn.
You know, so she she was talking about, like I said, like a cute hobby that she was tolerating as long as he made money on it.
Right.
And you know, everything kind of like came together with the whole legacy thing. And it's like, and remember when we did that episode about how Richard and Wendy Peeney like ended up donating their ElfQuest collection to, it was a Columbia University.
Yeah.
Right. Which it seems that anybody that the collection is now archived. And if you want to make a reservation to actually see the artwork in person, you can now go do that.
Yeah, it's called "Get Your Shit Out of My Room and We Need a Basement."
Right. So, yeah, because your bedroom is now kind of like a pseudo YouTube.
The whole back of our house is a studio. We've got a dual setup for C and Jaden that takes over half. We have a studio with a bed in it. We no longer have a bedroom, and that's fine. It really, because I mean, unlike some people, I'm pretty fucking supportive of my husband's hobbies.
Right. So yeah, so I was thinking about that episode that he was saying when they were talking about. When they were talking about legacy, and it's like how many of these people, and then remembering the New York Times article about Richard and Wendy Pini, and how everyone in the comments section was saying, hate to break it to you, nobody wants your shit. That was also a very controversial episode,
Right.
too, because there was a lot of hard truths in that. People in that comment section on the New York Times website is literally children of collectors saying, we don't want your shit. And even, so then this brought up, and it's like, okay, so you're making these arrangements with your family members to take care. Paul says, people always tell me to get a real job. I'd laugh saying I'd have more money if I didn't make that's all of us. That's all of us, really. I would have more money if I didn't make comics, but then what would I be doing?
Right.
It's like,
it wouldn't be fun.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like, how many people are you making these arrangements? Yeah, unfortunately, not to be kind of dark, but like the people that you're actually making these arrangements for your IPs and whatnot, like, are you sure they're just tolerating you, by saying it's like, like they're actually interested in what you're doing, or are they just treating what you're doing as like a cute little hobby that if you had stopped tomorrow, they would like going, Jesus Christ, finally.
Huh. It's not a phase, Mom.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I think that, for most of us, yeah, it's beyond being a phase, but at the same time, like, are we the only ones really, appreciating this? Me personally, I'm very fortunate to be in a situation where me and Jose technically have the same hobby.
Right.
So there is no question about, now mind you, even with that, I do not have an expectation for my stuff outside of me doing it. It's like, I'm honestly, it's like, because in the end, dead is dead, right? I mean,
right.
I have no control over what happens afterwards. I could say, oh yeah, it's like, please continue, and it's like Jose keeps telling me, he goes, because I make the joke, oh, what's your legacy? It's like, where do you see your legacy? And I go, at the bottom of a dumpster. And every time I make that joke, Jose goes, you're gonna sell my shit. You sell every single book. You get like, look, I got a Sandman collection that's worth money. Don't you dare put that in a dumpster.
Ooh, I would cry.
So in kind of a related note, which also made me miss House of Bob, because all of this was kind of coming all together, as it usually does, right?
Right.
So as I am in my fantasy smut era, right, reading these novels, right? Reading these novels. So I follow a group I follow a group where it's just all readers of paranormal and fantasy romance books. But boy, I have to admit, though, if I hear Sarah J. Maas one more time, it's like, look, okay, fine. No, I am not reading her books. Now, hello. So a question had come up that is kind of related to this topic. And the thing is, though, is that I appreciated the question, but I knew immediately she was asking the wrong audience. She was asking the wrong people to give her advice on this particular thing. And usually what I have done in the past is that usually this type of thing we would talk about at length on House of Bob, because it is kind of more of a kind of an adult related question, right? So we would talk about it more openly on House of Bob.
Right.
But on this one, because even the forum, it's Facebook. The forum is very strict about how certain things get talked about. The question is ridiculously censored, so I have to. So when I read it, it's going to sound weird, but
or you can just read it how it should sound.
Right. Well, that's true too,
and that's fine. And if they cut us, they cut us. We'll see
Right.
you guys on YouTube.
Right. Well, that's true too.
We'll age
But
restrict.
what I figured is that I would ask our chat for their advice. What would our chat? How would our chat answer, especially if you are a guy? So I am calling on all the men's in the everybody can comment, but I'm especially interested in the opinions of the men in the audience for this question.
Okay.
So okay, let me find the question. So here's the question that I want everybody to kind of put on their thinking caps on. And I really am looking for a real answer for this. So, okay, so here's the question, right? So, all right, how do you deal with a partner who has an issue with you reading smut? My husband apparently thinks it's bizarre that women talk about romance books and recommend them to each other. He compared it to men talking about their favorite porn videos and how weird that would be. He is also jealous because the other day I finished a particularly smutty book and was very interested in some husband-wife time with him. He is now saying the only reason I wanted to was because of the book, and I guess that makes him feel insecure, even though we had done it fortnights in a row prior to this, and me even starting said book. I guess I view reading smut differently than watching porn because it's not real people. It's all in my head and imaginary. I've never given him a hard time about viewing porn, so I guess I feel this is hypocritical. What are your opinions on this, and how would you deal with this? I'm not going to stop reading books that I enjoy. Also, for the audience, including you, chat, please do not comment telling me to throw the man out. He is my husband, and he is a human who's allowed to have feelings. I am seeking construction advice about how to have a dialogue with him and explain my views. He also never told me I can't read these books. He just doesn't get it. And I think
there you go. Hey, yeah, baby, I love you too.
If the book gets you there, let's go to the library.
Fuck.
Oh, there you go. And I think it's very easy.
No red flags here.
I think it's very easy for us to replace certain things. Like, how do you deal with a partner who has an issue with you reading comics? How do you deal with a partner who has an issue with you collecting furry art? You know, so it's like, how do you deal with a partner who has an issue with you self-publishing comics on Kickstarter? I think it's very easy to replace that. That's why I figured I present the question to the jury.
Right.
So what do you think? So what do you think about this question?
Okay, so I think that if something is a part of someone, like if fantasy smut is part of her life and he's not telling her no. There's extremes here, because if he was telling her no and you know she can't read this or whatever, I would say, okay, it's time to go.
Right.
Because that's just controlling and fucking dominating or whatever. And but I mean, not everybody's gonna like what you like. I don't know, because I'm really fucking blessed. My last relationship before C. Michael, which was 20 fucking plus years ago, was very controlling and dominant. He hated the fact that I liked cartoons, but yet he was fucking immature and irresponsible in other ways. He didn't like me reading comic books. He didn't. I mean, with the only exception to that was like the Max, and only because he liked that one too. But that was it.
Was he the Dune guy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, the Dune guy.
Right.
He's very fucking controlling. But with C, I mean, we both have that in common. We don't like the same comics all the time.
Right.
In fact, there's very few of the same that we like. We don't like the same movies, but
Right.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't even
Right.
know how to deal with that like anymore as a
Right.
mature adult.
Right.
Like I just like he doesn't he doesn't care for the furry porn, but he doesn't
Right.
fucking say shit when I'm
Right.
collecting the fuck out of it.
Right.
He doesn't care for like I don't know. It's just I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. I wouldn't know what to advise her other than you and landed in the wrong bed.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Well, what? Okay, so is I guess C's at work, right? So
no, he's home.
Oh, so okay, because my whole thing with this question. Okay, so Grant says Angie and I were talking about how the reason why male strippers will never be as popular as female strippers is because every woman has a different idea of the perfect man. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Grant says I always thought that's why women liked erotica more than porn. They can imagine their idea of the perfect man instead of just looking at a random dude. Oh, okay. You see, okay, 4 times in a row. Congrats. Ronan says if she's not stepping out and she's turned on and goes to you, shut up and ride. Oh,
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Take
Ooh,
the bitch
very
to the
nice.
library and get a collection.
Right. So you know, so the question. So obviously we're dealing with. Okay, let me
I think he's insecure in his own manhood. Like seriously.
Right. There's definitely an insecurity there, which she does mention that's what she's thinking. Also, I kind of think I mean to kind of what to dovetail on what Ronan was pretty much saying, you know, it's like holy shit, bro, just ride.
Just get it.
You know, Jesus Christ. And I think that now I do now, like I said, it's very easy to switch this around and say it's like, what if you like TNA books and you have a female partner who's like, why do you like that shit? Right? It's like, but I want
but I like your TNA. I mean, what do you
it's like but it's still I think that there's still an insecurity there on both on both versions, but I want to keep I want right now I want to focus on the question as it relates to a guy reacting to this. So my my brave souls in the audience, what advice would you give this woman in terms of it's like, hi, why wouldn't he read it too if only to find out what floats her boat? Well, here's
educational
thing,
purposes.
Nicholas. Yeah, here's the thing, Nicholas, and there we go. Take a shot. I really do think that it stems a lot that whatever insecurity that he's feeling, and I've seen this in action, where sexuality is great. You know, sex sells, the whole thing, right? Of course, guys thinking of sex every 30 seconds or whatever the fuck that stupid phrase was, right? But the second it comes from a woman, they get really, really uncomfortable with that. Right. Like the idea, like probably the husband has some kind of internalized problem with his wife being a sexual creature. You know, it's like Ronan suggests maybe sit with her and have a conversation about her, what she likes, and start having fun with experimenting. Oh,
but see, I don't think he's open to that already.
I don't think so. Yeah,
he's not receptive.
That's like, that's because that's what I'm thinking. Well, I mean, because obviously this is a conversation she wants to have with her husband, but
doesn't feel comfortable enough to just have it, or else she wouldn't be asking
strangers. Yeah, pretty much, right? You know that it's like the Reddit. You know, am I the asshole?
You know what happened when I realized I liked my ass whooped?
Oh, what happened?
Hey, baby, can we talk?
Right here, right here.
right here, and harder, harder until we got to where I needed it to be.
Right. Okay.
Just saying.
Right.
Because I was comfortable enough to do that because I'm comfortable in my relationship.
Right.
I'm secure. He's
Right.
secure. We're
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, but I'm feeling that within the context of this question, and I think that that he has no problem seeing men as sexual creatures that enjoy pornography, but he
Right.
has a problem seeing women, i.e. his wife, doing the same thing. That somehow it's reflecting poorly on him, that she's getting gratification in a fictional novel, like not even in real life.
Right.
Paul says, when I first got married, my wife didn't like me watching porn. Told her if she gave it up, I'd not watch porn on those days. Eventually, we started watching together. Wow. Okay. Robert says, as long as both are okay with each other's kinks, then all good. Don't be unfair and hypocritical. That would help, right? That would help. Grant says, it's just a difference of taste. He likes visual stuff and she likes more literary. I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, I think that it's more of, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? We're freaks. I don't know. What do you guys think of my theory that he might just be insecure with seeing his wife as a wild thing? Nicholas says, I mean, part of the excuse Manda and I went from friends to dating was when we realized we both read Laurel K. Hamilton. Oh, there you go. Paul says, nothing ever kept me from my wife. I think most women have a problem when guys turn to it instead of them. And I'm thinking that might be what's going on here in this question, where he's even though technically it's not the case, because she's still going to him. It's just that now it's like he feels that the book is getting in the way. Yeah, Nicholas says this isn't this is a communication
Absolutely
issue. Yeah. That he's feeling that the book is getting in the way. But
it's like, is the book getting in the way? Because that book got you laid, bro.
Right. Yeah.
How's that getting in the way? Ultimately, you win, right?
Right. You know, so it was just like, yeah. So what happens? Like, okay, let's reverse it. Okay. Let's go back to the reversed.
It's true.
You know, like, okay, so
shut up.
You know, say that you like collecting TNA comics. All right. Yeah, it's like from the post, it sounds like they still have a healthy sex life. I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, the guy obviously has a hang up that really has, like,
but they're still good. It's like, we're not saying this is a shattered relationship. It's just like,
yeah.
It's weird.
Like the part that really stands out for me is that he's now saying the only reason I wanted to have sex was because of the book.
Right.
That I guess it's like that he felt like he wasn't really truthfully being desired at that point.
Right. Well, and that's not necessarily true, because if she was feeling that kind of way and she didn't want him actually to fulfill her, she could have just kindly stepped aside into the bathroom and handled that shit herself. I mean, we know how to take care of ourselves in 30 seconds or less. Like, it's fine. It's fine. If she just needed a release, she could have got that, but she didn't. She went to him.
Right. Yeah. So there's apparently something else going on there.
Right.
So what if you have, so say that you have a partner, it's like, okay, you're collecting these TNA covers, you're collecting all the variant covers, and and you have a significant other saying, why do you collect that stuff? Like, oh my goodness. Maybe we're exposing a little bit more than we should on this episode. So I guess like going back to the original question, what happens if it turns out like yeah, you find out that you do have a partner who looks at what you're enjoying, no matter,
As
whatever it is,
childish or put off.
and they just said, why are you doing that? What, like, how would, and we've heard these stories before too, that we have seen same way at conventions, where it's like guys say, oh, my wife doesn't understand this.
Right.
My wife doesn't like this. You have 3 guys, with their wives going, you can do your cute little hobby as long as you make money.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
I mean, what other hobby would, I guess it was the fact that technically, like, doing artwork and doing comics is a hobby that could be monetized enough to pay bills on a larger scale. Because if you build like model trains, you're not going to have somebody says, oh, you can continue your hobby of collecting model trains as long as you have a job well, I guess you would, right? No, that kind of like, yeah, people would say that actually, that, because the whole point of a hobby is that that's the thing you do on the side of having a job. So I guess if those 3 artists had just wanted to keep it a hobby, I guess they could have, like, if they had jobs that added to the household income, then maybe their wives wouldn't have felt the need to give them such a ridiculous ultimatum. In terms of a hobby. But because they had wanted to make that hobby their full-time job, then the wife was going to put their foot down. It's like, well, then you definitely have to make money. Like, even though I'm bringing, it's like, I'm not going to support you and your cute little hobby that you think is a job. Like what advice would you guys give in a situation like that? Like, have you come across it? Especially since we know like how much effort and time and money making comics takes, right? What happens when you find out, like, you're, well, in the context of the question is like what happens if your spouse says, why are you doing this? Why aren't you making money? This is not a real job. I'm not sure if I'm getting my point across. Like, what happens if you're talking to a creator and it turns out that they're the only one that's passionate about what they're doing, and their spouse is like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know. What happens is I guess that's just part of your life that you don't share with your significant other.
Right. Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, because we're inclined, if we love someone, we want them to share. Right. We want to share interests and stuff. But the fact is that's kind of what makes us different. And in some respects, it attracts us to one another.
Right.
Like, so,
because in this thread, right, even if it's like, even though people were telling him to divorce the guy, even when she says, it's like, that's that there's always some kind of unequal. Ronan says, having a support system to follow your dreams is a big deal that doesn't always happen, unfortunately. Yeah, and in this case, right, even though she had said for people to not insult her husband, people were goddamn insulting her husband.
Right.
But the one piece of advice that kept popping up, that pretty much people were saying, like, I don't know, honestly, this might be your only option, is don't share your hobby with him. If you know this makes him uncomfortable, don't tell him about your books. Don't tell him what you're reading. Don't discuss
Right.
it with him. And it's like, and so many people were saying that, and it's like, oh my God, like I don't know. It's like it's kind of like a hard reality. Like, yeah, don't share. Seems
is
so
sad.
It is. It is like really, it's like I don't know what it would be like if
neither do I, because like fortunately we both got lucky that we have partners that like the same things, like
right.
And even not the same things. Like I said, there's comics that we just fucking completely disagree about. There's shit I'll read that he won't touch and vice versa. Because I have better taste. But we can't, but it's just, I can't relate on that level to where there's something that I felt I couldn't share with him. Because as a partner, if there's something you can't share with your partner, that's just depressing. That's that me that I made the wrong choice.
Right. I mean, wow, because that's wow, we really did kind of go dark. Wow.
Like
yeah, I mean,
because then you're feeling secretive and just so
Ronan is saying, what happens if you don't share and then you're caught? Now you're seen as a liar or keeping secrets, which is another problem.
It would be like the female who's like, you can't watch porn, and he sneaks into the fucking basement at night and gets on, and she's tiptoes down the stairs to bust him.
Right.
Type shit. No,
let's see. The thing, Nicholas says, the thing that I have encountered so often is the women judging me for drawing anime while having Sky O'Malley in hand and reading porn is somehow better than visual. Yeah, that's another thing too. Because I know Patrick goes, you don't have to hide your hobbies, but if your significant other is not into them, simply don't bring them up to the significant other. That's where the phrase, I'm spending time with my friends this weekend, or I'm going out. I'm going to go buy milk. I'm going to buy cigarettes. It's like, Grant says, I had an Uber customer the other night going to a basketball game, and I was like, you like basketball? And he was like, not as much as I like time away from my wife. Bro.
Well, I guess in that instance, that's when it comes down to
that's where's the little flag? Where's the little flag? Yeah, that's Patrick says, to do stuff and you won't want to go. They just don't want to hear about it. Also, it's like, I'm like, shit, why are you married? Wow. Yeah, no, we've met plenty of those couples who, like, why are you even together?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because also the thing is the whole, like, well, that's why, women like erotica and men like porn, that whole thing. It's like, no, the shit that I'm reading is porn.
Right.
The shit that I'm reading is porn. There's nothing.
Nah.
There's no euphemisms here. I know, Nicholas. That's what it feels like sometimes.
I like erotica too, though.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the mood. It's the mood.
Yeah. It's the mood.
Right? But also because I had asked Jose,
I can only say start over.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is kind of a rough one. HR.
Wow.
Oh, ouch. Oh, oh my God. Because unfortunately, when I asked Jose this question from the forum, right, I didn't have all the information. I was just paraphrasing, just like the first, and he was like, oh, there's too much information that I need that there's to even answer this question. Right.
Because we can only speculate the rest of their relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But it's like, and it's like, in our case, it's like, look, our first professional job together outside of self-publishing.
What?
was working on La Blue Girl. It's like I said, we literally spent like a weekend just watching friggin', hentai anime.
Like a
Just to
family.
do this like a family. You know, I mean, we're watching Eroska Doji on top of everything, and it's like, oh, okay. It's like, but it's for work. Grant says, I'm not sure if my comment went through because I used a word YouTube doesn't allow. I said that I think people get married because there rhymes with thorny, and then that wears off.
True that.
Oh, is gosh, is
No, I
YouTube
see it.
like?
No.
Oh, here we go. Okay, all right, there we go. Yeah, I mean,
They might age
know,
restrict the chat, but whatever.
well, well, I mean, I don't know. I think we're keeping it pretty clean.
Are we?
Yeah, I don't know.
We?
I mean, we're having, I think it's a rather, but yeah, so
it's
so
therapeutic
yes,
and educational.
right? But yeah, it's like yeah, that's kind of the thing. So what happens when it's like you're doing your comics thing, right? And you're thinking that you're creating a legacy, and then it turns out that you're surrounded that your spouse could absolutely care less.
Right.
Nicholas saying the other thing is some people are stimulated by mental first, some need to hear, some need to get started by touch. You have to know and accommodate each other's needs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, Grant, yeah, she found it. She just switched it.
Horny.
Yeah, we watched Love Lugal with friends and pizza because college. Oh, funny, that sounded like our time watching Love Lugal too.
Yeah, y'all don't want to know how I watched the Blue Girl the first time and how old I was.
We were
behind
just
the couch while my older sister was watching it with her boyfriend, which was
oh
got
my
even
goodness.
weirder.
No, we were ours was purely research. Like what the fuck? You know that Jose found an issue of La Blue Girl, issue 3, and the guy was like, it was CGC graded, and the thing I don't remember if he said it was $300 or $600.
Oh yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah, like the issues that we did, that he wrote, that I lettered and did inking on, right. And Matthew drew, and it's like, yeah, those issues are not like we couldn't afford to buy a complete collection. I think there's like 15 issues. I think 12 or 15. I don't remember.
I think it's 15.
Yeah, but it's like, it's like we couldn't. We couldn't afford to buy our own copies back because it's like, it's like, wow, we had no idea. Speaking of La Blue Girl though, and our first professional gig. Hold on, let me cancel. Okay, hold on. Let me just as we awkwardly pause for now, because obviously this question is stumping everybody. But it is a difficult question,
right? Especially because there are variables missing.
Right.
Like,
but but not only that, it's just like the whole idea that it's like you're doing something that you're passionate about, and in this case, you're doing your comics, you created these characters, right. And it's like you're trying to like, oh, I'm creating a legacy, and then you kind of like realize that everyone around you is like going, oh, yeah, that's nice, and it's like, yeah, it's and I think that's why I think in the end it's like that's why community is important, because there comes a point where you do want to share your passion with people who share the same thing that you like. Right. It's like, as self-publishers, we surround ourselves with other self-publishers. Because in the end, it's like we're the only ones who understand what it means to be a self-publisher. I mean, it's like, so it's like it's a lot easier to talk to somebody who's already in it with you, right. Than kind of like explaining it from scratch to somebody who's not really interested. Right. There's like, oh, well, that's your hobby. That's it. I don't need to know anything about it. And ultimately it's not necessarily a bad thing, because we do have, different interests. but at the same time, it's what Nicholas keeps and Ronan and everything, you know, is that in the end, it's a communication problem.
Right.
You know, it's not that you have disparaging, no, different, different opinions on your hobby. It's how you have different opinions about that
Right.
hobby. You know, if your spouse is still a cheerleader, but like, well, I don't know anything about that, but you know, it's like, but I'm
But
always
you
there.
do. Right,
You know,
right. I love it because you do, or I'm
right?
interested enough
Exactly. It
because
makes
you
you
are.
happy. It makes
Right.
me happy because it makes you happy. I mean, you can't, you know, you can't just that's not something to throw out. That's not something to belittle, you know? But it's when people are like, well, I don't understand that. So why are you into that? You know? Like for some reason, it's like their disinterest has to be your problem too.
Right.
Right. It's like Ronan says, I agree with this. I love talking to people who enjoy the role-playing games. Not everyone wants to talk about it in depth, but those who do make it so worth it. I don't know.
Yes.
It's like I know RPG is role-playing game, but I don't
It's
know what
tabletop.
Oh,
Tabletop.
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 Okay.
Yeah, like
Right.
Vampire the
Dungeons and
Masquerade,
Dragons. Right.
Werewolf, Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons,
Yeah. Okay.
Cyberpunk,
Oh,
all
so
that fun
Grant
shit.
has a question. I have a question for you ladies, and you may not have time to answer today. Well, let's think about it. So let's go ahead. What's the question? So, do you think there's a double standard with men and women who write erotica? Oh, hell
My
yes.
God. Hell yes, we do.
You know what? That could be an entire episode. The answer is yes. I really do think it's related to the husband's reaction to her reading this stuff, because I think that he really does have a problem seeing sexuality as something that men do not control. Well, I mean, it's so Grant
Oh,
says, I have a
wow.
friend who writes an erotic comic book, and most of the women I know don't want to talk to him because they think he's gross. Well, you
Wow,
see,
because that's
without
funny because
knowing more
usually it's the
detail.
opposite for us. Like usually if it's the woman
Right,
writing, she's
right,
nasty, ratchet, slutty, whatever.
right, yeah. But also, well, yeah, that I would need more information with
Yeah.
that, because it's
More
very
information
easy.
and that's a whole episode.
Because it's very easy to have a knee-jerk reaction and going, it's like, well, if all your women friends have that reaction to him, I don't think it's the comic he's making. You know?
Yeah, but that's
But
without knowing details.
right,
And
without knowing detail. Like I said, a knee-jerk reaction to that is like, if all your women friends have a problem with somebody, yeah, that might not be for the reason you think. But yeah, without any more information than that, you know, it's like I couldn't answer that question.
but
But
there
is
is
there a double
definitely
standard?
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, there is a double standard. I remember when I interviewed Trina Robbins, they were talking about how she was part of an all-woman collective of cartoonists along the same time as Robert Crumb and his collective of artists. And Robert Crumb had put out a porn comic, and Trina and her crew was putting out their own porn comic as well, I guess kind of like as an answer to Robert Crumb's book. And no printer, not a publisher, because they were self-publishing, no printer would print it. And they even went to the same printer that did Robert Crumb's porn book. And she's like going, but you printed his book. Why all of a sudden you have a problem with ours? And the printer straight up told her, when men do porn, it's satire. No, when men draw stuff like that, it's satire. When women draw stuff like that, it's pornography.
Yep. Imagine that.
So, yeah. So, yeah, we could probably do an entire episode of that, just talking about that. But I mean, we're a little bit past the hour, and I wanted to bring this up. You know, speaking of La Blue Girl, so got it. Yeah, got it. So, so Magi's Grace issue 1. This is a reprint of issue 1 for everybody who missed the previous campaign for it. So this is a return of Magi's Grace. This is a reprint of issue 1 with brand new variant covers for those of you who collect that sort of thing. And what makes, and speaking of, La Blue Girl, so the main cover on the main variant cover on this new issue is by C. Michael Lanning that you see on the screen right now. But the other cover is actually a La Blue Girl tribute to the book that we did back in the day, that the 15 issues. This is the cover to the 3rd issue of La Blue Girl, which is technically Jose's first professional gig. That pretty much Matthew had been working professionally before, up until then, but this was mine and his first professional book. So he decided to create a variant cover that honors that. So this is I don't think he has. Oh yeah, I think it's on his Facebook page, where he shows the original cover for La Blue Girl and how this is a tribute to that issue. So this is Magi's Grace. It is on Kickstarter right now. It has 20 days to go. Thank you to the 46 backers who've supported the campaign so far, raising $1,425. And and I figured since we were talking about La Blue Girl, we could just bring this up really quick. So we're going to put the link in the show notes. Actually, I could probably just put the here it is. So here is the original cover for La Blue Girl issue 3, and the Magi's Grace homage to that cover. So so that La Blue Girl issue, I think, was like $600, CGC graded, on that he found. I don't know if he just found it online. He was just 20 days to go. Thank you so much, everybody who supported the campaign so far. And also, while we're talking about campaigns, I just want to congratulate Rob Voltari for another successful run on Snowpaw, Snowpaw issue 3. For those of you who missed it, I'm pretty sure, because he usually,
it'll go on Backer Kid, I'm sure.
It'll be available on Backer Kit for anybody who's missed the campaign. So so congratulations for another go round on Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's like, I mean, that in and of itself, like I said, we could definitely say
booby comics are scared to be erotic.
That's that's kind of we can definitely have a whole episode based on that. Because that's because erotic has a specific definition, porn has a specific definition, especially in publishing, and it doesn't really. Does porn and erotica have a specific definition? I don't think so either.
Look, no, there's erotic is leading up to, and the build up, and the porn is the fucking. If you have the build up and you don't have the fucking, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah. Right. So I guess, and then it's like, it's science. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but we'll definitely save this
shit up.
Yeah, I know. It's it's amazing. It's amazing anybody listens to us. But yeah, we can definitely have that conversation in another episode. We might probably, for safety's sake, we might end up age restricting it or something, like running a special. But we'll definitely talk about it on another episode. So I think that's pretty. So so sorry to bring everybody down with that question. I mean, but it is something that as creators we kind of like bump into, the fact that not everybody is not going to be but talk about a subjective, talk about a subjective thing, right? Because what's porn for me is nothing for somebody else and vice versa.
Right.
I mean, there's people who think that just a basic ass nude cover, a nude variant cover, oh my God, that's pornographic.
porn.
And I go, bro, you haven't seen pornographic. What
You
are
ain't
you
seen
looking
nothing
at?
yet.
You know, so like I said, you know, cut my teeth on VC Andrews and a Roscoe Doji. You don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's just something that I think as creators we have to kind of think about and how we're going to maneuver around that when we bump into it. You know, when people are not on the same page with us creatively, if at all.
Right.
You know, that we're always going to come across people who are like, what are you doing? Like, why do you even bother with that? You know? And yeah,
because they can't enjoy it, they can't understand how we do. And
right. Yeah. Like I said, they try to make their disinterest your problem.
Right.
And yeah, and you know, so yeah, so that's just something to think about today, you know, I guess, you know. Yeah, thank you, Nicholas, thank you. Right. Yeah, you know, because yeah, we're going to bump into it. We always bump into it, and yeah, it's how we in the end how we react to it. Because in the end, this woman asking this question about her husband, in the end, she cannot control how her husband is reacting.
Right.
You know, and even if she wants to have a conversation about it with him, he might not be, oh, yeah. Yeah. I really do miss that episode of House of Bob when we were just looking at erotic comics. I really do. Yeah, it's like that she might want to have the conversation, but he might not want to. And unfortunately, she may have to seriously consider that. It's like, you know what, if this makes him that uncomfortable, I have to consider, you know, not sharing my hobby with him.
Right.
You know,
not keeping it a secret, just not
just like
it in.
It's like,
because if she feels she has to give it up or keep it secret,
which is not what
the relationship is shattered.
Right.
And then
He's
not insinuating that.
He didn't say she couldn't read the books. He just says he doesn't get it. And it's like, and you know what? Sometimes people don't get it. They won't get it because the actual reasoning for that not getting it is too deep that it's not really something for you to solve. It's not a problem for you to solve in the end. And the only thing that you can do is do what you need to do. You know, you only have control over what you do. You know, because probably all she needs to do is just, you know, okay, I'm just reading my books and that's it. And I have this forum that I could talk about them with other people who share my interests, but I'm not going to talk about it with my husband.
Was that when she went to him, his own it wouldn't matter, I don't think, as long as he knew she was reading. Here's the red flag in this whole conversation,
right?
The fact that he became uncomfortable because he thought the only reason she was coming to him was because she was already horny from the book. And I'm going to tell you something, gentlemen, if your wife was just horny from the book, she could have handled her own business,
right?
So that's kind of that's the red flag in the whole thing.
But that's why I think that that it's not really the books. I think it's the it's the insecurity he has at the thought of his wife initiating.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, I think that might be the actual problem. You know, and it's like, why are you initiating? That's my job.
Huh.
You know, but but
we don't know because we're missing context and
exactly.
Whatever.
We don't know. You know, it's at least with the am I the asshole Reddit threads, right? Usually there's updates. I don't think we're going to get an update on this, or at least the question is so buried now that I don't think anyone's really, that we're not going to know what happened. So we can only speculate. So and any kind of like any final thoughts?
Let's finish them off, Daphne.
Let's finish. Okay, Jesus Christ. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for putting in your 2 cents in this economy. Thank you so much for at least trying to answer this question that we'll never get an answer to. But in the end, I think in general, it's just a question for us to think about in terms of what we do, and in especially bringing it back to comics and what we collect and what we enjoy, and just in the end realizing that it's like not everybody shares our interests or
Right.
ideas of what we're leaving behind for them. And in the end, it's just up for us to just enjoy it while we can, while we're here. Just enjoy it how we enjoy it, and sometimes just accept it for
What was the
it
Game
is.
of Thrones quote? We may die, but we'll live while we can.
Something like that.
Something
But
like that.
Yeah. So I saw that quote recently, and I can't remember it either. Yeah.
It was Jon Snow who said it, so it was fucking stupid. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
because it's Jon Snow.
He knows nothing.
And I want to thank my beautiful eyeball people who stuck it out for the hour and half ish, for this. I hope, at least, it just had you thinking, or at least you're just entertained by just us having this conversation altogether with no matter, maybe we were just background noise for you. And I hope you enjoyed it for that as well. But thank you for watching. So that's it for us. We will be back on Monday. Everybody have a great Easter weekend.
Where'd you learn to kiss me there?
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to do it.
Do it. Yes.
Why do I remember that line?
Because it was hot. Because that was like the one hot fucking scene. Just like, okay.
The way he just says, like, I don't know. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to kiss you there. Oh my God. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and my upcoming campaigns and all that fun stuff, you got to head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. If you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates, especially when I finish these 2 covers, I will be posting them to Facebook for everyone to look at them in their romantasy glory. So yeah. Oh my goodness. And remember that you can also find me here on YouTube for 500 plus videos on how I make my artwork, and my semi-weekly art live streams Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you everybody who joined me on my previous stream where we were just drawing hands all day. We were just drawing hands for the 2 hours. It was kind of like an impromptu art class. So thank you for everybody who enjoyed that. I probably should schedule more of those later. But join me on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Well, I will be just going back to doing work because I got to do work, probably more sketch covers, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, where we're just drawing and I'm just talking to the chat. So if you want to talk about anything, we could talk about it there as well. It's fun. It's like being at a convention, except it's just us. It's just us, and we're having a good time.
And no touching and no smelling.
Right, and you don't have to spend an exorbitant amount of money on convention fries. And remember, you can read Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. And again, we'll be returning to Kickstarter on April 8th, which is a Monday. Yes, it is a Monday. So make sure that you hit the link and hit the notify me button so you get notified when the campaign goes live. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Like I said, have a good, happy Easter, and just a really nice weekend. If you don't celebrate, and remember, and I guess watch out for those verbal tics. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. And isn't that funny? So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.